Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Joel and Halloween Ends is right around the corner, hitting theaters this October. The dying awaited sequel to Halloween Kills has fans excited to see how everything really ends. This once 6-year-old child with the blackest eyes turned babysitter stalker has become a horror icon, slashing the scene for decades since the late 70s. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be reviewing each Halloween movie that includes Michael Myers all the way up to Halloween Ends, celebrating his highs and his lows, all hyping us up to the long-awaited sequel to Halloween Kills. Today we're going to be reviewing Halloween 2, the sequel with an interesting twist. I'm going to do something that I didn't do in the 78 review. I'm going to be rating the movie. During the Halloween Ends review, I'm going to be ranking all the movies, so stay tuned. But without further ado, let's hit play on Halloween 2, 1981. So starting off in Halloween 2, we have a flashback scene to let the audience know, hey, this movie still takes place on the same night, so that means if you didn't watch Halloween 1978, you will be very confused. So in this awesome flashback sequence, we have more and alternate footage when Michael gets shot off the balcony. Loomis sees that Michael is gone from the lawn, so he decides to investigate to make sure he is seeing this correctly. He touches Michael's blood in disbelief, spawning a neighbor to come out and see what was happening, and this is where we get another famous Loomis speech.
What's going on out here?
Call the police. Tell the sheriff I shot him.
Who?
Tell him he's still on the loose.
Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight.
You don't know what death is.
Now moving on, we have an updated opening featuring an updated theme to fit the early 80s pop and synth by John Carpenter and Alan Howarth, directed by Rick Rosenthal, and yes, John doesn't direct in this film. Originally, John didn't want to do a sequel to Halloween 1978, and he just wanted to create an anthology series, but the studio was pushing and pushing him to do a sequel that they finally gave in and chose a different director. And I'm kinda digging this new intro. I think this is a step up from the first movie, of course. And let me just say, everything in this movie is just pumped up 10 times. We then get a POV shot of Michael stalking after getting shot, walking it off like it was nothing. While stalking, we see that Loomis is right in front of him, and he encounters Officer Brackett, informing that he shot him 6 times and that he is still out here. Michael walks over to the Elrod's house, where we see Mrs. Elrod working in the kitchen, making Mr. Elrod a sandwich. And my boy is just sleeping there while she's over here making a nice sandwich. Cutting whole slices of turkey too? The TV is interrupted by a news reporter's broadcast as he informs Haddonfield that Michael is on the loose. While Mrs. Elrock is intrigued, Michael goes into their house and steals a knife that she was slicing the turkey with. Like, yo, Mikey boy, that knife is unsanitary. Heck, why am I complaining? He stabs victims with the same knife anyways. Michael then proceeds to walk next door to their neighbor Alan's house, and here we see our first kill. And this is what I mean where everything is taken up 10 times in this movie, because we see blood splat everywhere on her face, but in the first film there is barely blood present and are just clean cut kills. And yes, I know Michael's mask is different. Little backstory. After production on 78, Deborah Hill kept the mask and she had a fireplace, and she kept the mask on the fireplace, so the mask was heavily weathered. Plus, she was a heavy smoker and often kept it under her bed, so that was another factor. Plus, Dick Warlock, the actor who plays Michael in the film, has a big face, so it filled the space in the mask, having that Dick Warlock stretch to it. But then we see Laurie being transported to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, begging to not be put to sleep because she knows that Michael is still out there. We arrive at the hospital where we see what it's like on Halloween night in Haddonfield. We see a boy getting into the hospital for a razor blade being stuck in his candy, a classic tale that happens all the time on Halloween. We're now in the hospital where Laurie's wishes are abolished when Dr. Mixer injects her and she is put to sleep. Poor Laurie. Meanwhile, Dr. Loomis and Officer Brackett are driving and they see someone who looks like Michael dressed in his outfit. But Dr. Loomis gets nerve-wrecked and thinks it's him, gets ready to shoot him, only to be stopped by Brackett. But oh! Another cop shows up to save the day and end Michael once and for all by driving into him and exploding him. Oh wait, Ben Tramer? We are then introduced to one of the new characters, Jimmy, that I really actually enjoy in this film. Because let me tell you, there are a few characters I absolutely don't like. Miss Alvarez is one of them. I know she's just doing her job, but she's just too aggy about it. Nagging about every little thing. And the actress who plays her, Gloria Gifford, does a pretty good job at playing her, I'm not gonna actually lie. And Bud, man, he is annoying, but he does crack a good joke or two.
Amazing grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry, I need your pie.
Michael is now in the hospital after being informed by radio that Laurie is in the hospital while bumping into someone. While the telephones are down, Mr. Garrett has to go fix the lines, but Michael, being the sneaky guy he is, starts to play with him and ultimately ends him. Then we see the town of Haddonfield holding a riot at Michael's childhood home where Loomis gives another speech informing this new officer he never worked with before the evil that is upon them.
Yet one night in 1963, Michael Myers did murder his sister in that upstairs bedroom with a large butcher knife.
I remember.
On Halloween.
I was 16 years old.
It's his anniversary, Mr. Hunt. He came back.
After 15 years?
He waited with extraordinary patience. There was a force inside him, biding its time. The staff grew accustomed to his immobility and silence. In many ways, he was the ideal patient. He didn't talk, he didn't cry, he didn't even move. He just waited. The staff was unprepared. They didn't know what he was.
Did you know?
Yeah, I knew.
Moving on to one of my favorite kills in the movie, we see Bud get choked by Michael and Karen brutally drowned over and over again in a high-temp bathtub.
Now, Bud, don't be that way.
Meanwhile, Nurse Marion Chambers shows up to inform Dr. Loomis that the governor ordered him back to Smith's Grove Sanitarium. Laurie starts to have an allergic reaction and Jimmy and Janet start looking for help. Janet looks for Dr. Mixer, but he got killed. And Michael finishes Janet off in the most beautiful way ever. Michael is looking for Laurie. He enters her room and finishes her off. Oh wait, sorry, it was just a bunch of pillows. Laurie goes and hides in a different room. Jimmy finds Mrs. Alvarez dead and he slips and falls on her blood. Jill is looking for Mr. Garrett, but he is nowhere to be seen. She ends up finding Laurie, but is ended off in one of his most iconic ways. Then, the chase scene starts. Laurie escapes Michael, riding outside the hospital, hoping to steal a car, but all the tires are flat. Jimmy walks into the car, tired from the fall, and decides to crash. On the way of the drive, Nurse Marion Chambers tells him that there was a hidden file kept away from him. An interesting twist that will set up the motive for Michael in future installments.
Dr. Loomis, please listen to me. There's a file on Michael Myers that nobody knew about.
I've seen everything.
No, it was hidden, sealed by the court after his parents were killed. Now, after the governor heard what happened tonight, he authorized Dr. Rogers to open it.
What file?
It isn't fair. They should have allowed you to examine everything. That girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister. She was born 2 years before he was committed. 2 years after, his parents died and she was adopted by the Strodes. They requested that the records be sealed in order to protect the family.
Jesus, don't you see what he's doing here in Haddonfield? He killed one sister 15 years ago. Now he's trying to kill the other. Tonight, after I shot him, where did they take her?
The clinic.
Clinic? Where? Do you know this area well?
A little bit.
Where's the hospital located?
Dr. Loomis, we're under orders from the governor.
It's back on Route 17, about 3 miles.
Turn this car around now.
I can't do that. I've got orders.
Those orders just changed.
Dr. Loomis!
Doctor, you're getting yourself into a lot of trouble.
What is it you fellas usually do? Fire a warning shot, right?
This leads us to our final battle where Michael starts chasing after Laurie and Dr. Loomis lets her in the hospital. Dr. Loomis shoots him 5 more times, and this arrogant security marshal kept getting close to Michael, so he was another addition to Michael's kill count. Laurie and Dr. Loomis go inside an oxygen room where Michael breaks in. Loomis attempts to shoot him but has no ammunition and gets stabbed. Laurie is left to fend for herself by shooting him in the eyes, giving us that bloody eye look. Since Michael is now partially blind, he starts swinging his knife around, hoping he would get a nip at Laurie. Loomis turns on a tank and they start playing tug-of-war, but with oxygen tanks. Loomis sacrifices himself by blowing up him and Michael. Personally, I'd give this film an 8.5 out of 10. It's an almost near perfect sequel to Halloween 1978 with a few nitpicks here and there, but I say this is a movie to definitely add to your Halloween movie collection. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And yeah, I'm Joel. Peace out.